Okay. Okay. So just your name and your relationship with White House. Or I mean with OPC.
My name is Christine Murakami. I work at Columbus School for Girls in Columbus, Ohio. And I had a very small deployment with a group of high school girls to bring a set of computers to St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands and teach 3rd through 5th graders there how to use e-toys.
And then what was the moment that you got hooked on the OLPC XO laptop? What was it that pushed you over the edge?
I guess personally I was searching for something that was more than just contributing money to a cause. And it merged my personal desire to give back with my personal ability and job with teaching computers and my love for girls' education. And it just took all 3 of these parts of who I am as a person and gelled into the perfect project.
Yeah.
Okay, when you give this present for the kids, what do you think they think have to do with this?
I'm sorry.
When you give this
the computers
to the kids, what do you think is the first impression to the kids? What they think?
They were the young kids were thrilled. The old kids were thrilled. So when you say kids, I have these high school girls, and they love the computers too. They're cute, they're colorful, they're little, they're girls like cute things. The young kids, when we gave them, they were so excited to get these computers, and they were just anxious and excited. And as the process of our course went on, what was the exciting part was the relationship between the little kids and the big kids. And every day we heard the little kids scream and say, they're coming, and it was more than just the computer. It was the relationship between their high school teachers that became the connecting point. And I've actually had 2 students just last week got letters from some of their little kid students from St. John, and they were of course thrilled to have contact with those young ones.
Okay. So for them the more important thing is connect with other people or learn through the computer.
Okay, well, so girls they're not like boys. They generally don't like technology for technology's sake. Boys are tinkerers. They play with computers. They want to play games. They want to take them apart. They put them back together and figure them out. Girls use computers because it gets them somewhere. Okay? So I gave them the somewhere. The somewhere was teaching. The somewhere was kids. It was a place. It was an exciting trip. The goal was a social construct for them. The computer science was the stuff they had to get through to get to the goal. So they learned computer programming, they learned hardware and software fixing and upgrading and that kind of thing. But that was not what hooked them. What hooked them was the social and humanitarian thing at the other end. So it was the perfect combination for teenage girls, because it really got them to learn something about computer science that they would have never understood had I not given them this other social aspect, social sort of humanitarian project for them to work on.
Okay.
And then what would you say was one of the most toughest parts about all this, the thing that probably would have made you give up if you weren't so driven?
That's a really good question. I had a year-long course that started in August and our trip was in May. And right about January, February, I personally and everybody else, we just got bogged down. And had it not already been for the fact that we'd already planned the trip, and we already had commitments for, tickets and all this stuff, we had already worked with Wave Place. I think that it would have been really hard to keep it going, because it was still very abstract at that point. The girls didn't know really, they understood where they were going, but they didn't really get what it was going to be all about. And so it's just really hard to motivate them and say, okay, come on, we just got to get through this. We got to it's going to be good. But I think that was the hard part. I wouldn't say that we would have quit, but it was really nice to have already made out a whole bunch of commitments to prevent us from quitting. So.
And then if you had to pass along some hard-earned wisdom to people following, what would you hand out?
I think my one thing, and I keep coming back to this, and I've said this several times in the last 2 days, is don't let the details bog you down, because there are so many details. There are so many things that could stop you. There are so many things that could make you quit and say, oh, it's just too much. But if you just hold on to that kernel of what's getting you there, what's hooking you in the first place, you can figure out the details as you go. And of course, I'm sure every person at this conference would say the same thing. There's always things that you would do better. There's always things that you would fix the next time. But if you are a person that has to have it all mapped out before you start, you're never going to get started. So I guess my advice would be just do it. Just start. Do something. And the rest will work itself out, because it's the right thing to do, and there's so much good about it that something good's going to come out of it. So that would be my advice. Thanks.
Excellent. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Good luck with all.